for punishment for them being disobedient was that in pain she would bear her children. Genesis 3:16. For everybody that's deep, that needs scripture, there's scripture. Genesis 3:16. What the Lord said to me about many of you is that is what your pain is here for.
Lord have mercy.
That is why you have been hurting. That is why, even though you put a smile on your face and pretend that all is okay, that is why you are in pain. Because you've been carrying that baby for a long time. And it's time for you to stop clamping down when it's time to deliver. Why would he bring you to the point of childbirth only to abort the process? That is not how God operates. So when the pain begins to turn up, that is your labor pain. And for some of you, you have been travailing in labor for a while. You know, when you have your baby naturally, who's had a baby in the building? Who's ever given birth? Amen. So almost everybody in here understands. A lot of times when you take pain medicine, it slows down the birthing process. That's what a lot of you have been doing. Your church service has been your pain medication. Your makeup, your fancy look, your running from place to place has been your pain medication because it hurts so bad. So instead of you staying on that table with your feet in the stirrups, you have gotten up and walked out of the delivery room because you felt like it was too much for you to bear. But you can't give birth without experiencing pain. It doesn't happen. So Prophetess Anna was speaking about my marriage. I have an amazing marriage. I'm married to the person that God designed for me. I have been with him for 12 years. We've been married for 11 years. I knew that he was my husband before I ever laid eyes on him. I had wisdom enough not to tell him that, because it is not my business to tell a man that I am his wife. A man is supposed to come and get me. And so in wisdom, I kept my mouth shut and I kept praying. So when we did get married, it was according to the way that God designed. Now, my husband will tell you that he knew 1 month in that I was his wife. But wisdom told him that if he told me that, I was going to run. Because I'd come out of a really bad marriage. So my pain, my labor, gave birth to a beautiful marriage. But see, when you're in a bad marriage, you don't think that God is preparing you for something different. I thought I can pray this joker to Jesus. I thought if I just stay in it and I keep serving God, God is going to deliver him. God is going to stop him from cheating on me every chance that he gets. God is going to stop him from trying to stifle me, because his words were, I don't want you to be married to a preacher. Well, brother, I don't know what to tell you, because God called me before I came. But I thought I could pray him to wholeness. I could pray him to deliverance. And that's what a lot of us do. So I stayed and I prayed and I fought the devil in my mind. I was going to speak life into my marriage, because marriage is honorable and marriage is holy, and God does not intend for us to get a divorce. This is what I said to myself. But God didn't put me in that marriage. I met her when I was 15. I didn't know nothing about marriage or God, really. I thought I did. I knew nothing about life. I wasn't wise enough to know what I should be accepting into my life. So because of that, I experienced pain. And I used to believe that that pain was a result of my mistakes. But God had to show me, no, baby, that was your labor. Because I had something else that I wanted to birth in you down the road, but you got to go through some things. You got to stop running from pain. Pain has a purpose. Nothing happens on this earth without purpose being attached to it. My pain was my place of purpose, because that pain pushed me to my face. And he would go to work and I'd lay on the floor. God, it's me and you. And I got to the point to where I stopped praying about him and I started praising God. And I started worshiping God, and I started crying out to God. My first real true encounter with the Lord was not at church. My first real true encounter with the Lord was on my face in my closet. Me and Jesus, because nobody else knew. Because I would go to church, I would sing on the praise team, I would teach Sunday school, I would minister to everybody else, and go home broken. And I know I'm not the only one in this room that's there. Go home broken, crying, not because the service was so good, but because I had to go home to him. And I never knew what to expect. If I had a high time in Jesus, I'd have to fight the devil when I went home. Because he could not handle. See, the enemy ain't gonna be comfortable around the anointing. Light and dark can't dwell in the same place. You cannot lay down with your spouse next to you who's living a hot mess, who don't want nothing to do with Jesus, and there not be friction in the relationship. One of y'all is gonna be uncomfortable. And I got tired of being uncomfortable in my own home. So I started saying, God, it's me and you for real. I said it before, but I began to mean it. It's me and you, Jesus, to the day I die. Because it was Jesus who had brought me that far. And I knew it was Jesus that was going to carry me through. So I stopped arguing. I stopped acting a fool, stopped checking his phone, stopped playing detective in my private time. Because you know, we know how to work it out. A woman can find any information out that she wants to know. Anything. Background, my brother started dating a girl, I knew her whole background, every arrest she ever had, kids in another state, I knew everything. I was good at it. The Lord told me, if it's really about me and you, why you keep talking to me about him? Who is this really about? You really care about me? You really want me for real? Or do you want to continue the lie that you're in a happy marriage? What do you want? Do you want to walk in truth for real, or do you want to continue the lie? What's most important to you? Stop lying to yourself. Because newsflash, everybody else around you, boo, they already know. We can see it. Old folks used to say your slip is hanging. We can see it. We can tell that you're not happy. Your family don't want to come around because they're uncomfortable. You making people around you uncomfortable because y'all a hot mess. But you holding on to it because God don't like divorce. God didn't put you together. God didn't tell you to get married. So if we're going to be all the way real about it, you were walking in disobedience when you said, I do. But now you want God to bless it. You want him to put his stamp of approval on something that he never told you to go into in the first place. What God taught me through that relationship was how to put all the facade, how to put the fakeness to the side, and how to have a real relationship with him, and how to do what was uncomfortable, how to do what was unpopular, how to seek him with my whole heart, so that every time I stood before his people, truth could come out. Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Baby, if you got pain in your heart, you can't minister. Because out of your heart is going to come pain. And you're going to spew that pain into all of the people that are listening to you. We have to get free for real. And we have to birth out the thing that God is telling you to birth out. If you were naturally in labor, would you try to prophesy to somebody else? Mm-hmm. If you were naturally experiencing labor pains, would you have it in you to speak over somebody else's life? So why, when you are spiritually doing the same thing, would you try to be overly spiritual and keep speaking and doing everything as though you are not in the middle of giving birth? The natural mirrors the spirit. Whatever happens in the spirit first, it eventually begins to manifest in the natural. If your spirit ain't right, how you gonna function properly in the natural? Eventually, it's going to catch up with you. And we have to be careful to make sure that we don't make other people casualties of our birthing experience. How many people you know have been quote unquote church hurt? Ain't nothing wrong with the person that hurt them except they hurting themselves. We have to be honest about where we are in our lives and in our relationship with God. Tell the truth. How you doing? Blessed and highly favored? No. How you doing? Girl, I'm struggling today, but I'm depending on Jesus. Tell the truth. I'm not okay. I don't know where my husband was for the last 2 nights. You're not okay. Tell the truth. If you're single, stop saying, I'm okay with being single. No, I want God to send me a mate. If that's your truth, speak it. Speak it. Now, if you really and truly want to be single, that's good. That's you. But there are plenty of single women who do not want to be single. I was one of them. All right, okay, Lord, you done gave me these babies. Now I ain't asking for all these kids. You done put all these kids in, you better send them a daddy. I can't do this by myself. That's how I talk to God. He know I don't change how I communicate with him. He know. I don't change my conversation when I talk to anybody else who know me. So I don't change my conversation when I talk to him. I'm honest with God. I walk in honest communication with him. I need for you to send me the man that you designed for me. And this joker better be right. He got to love you first and me second. Ain't nobody in between that. I don't care what his mama got to say about it. It's God and then it's me. No, mama gonna have to get in line. And that joker have a good job. Okay? Good job with some good benefits. I need him to have some good, strong work ethic. He don't have to come up in here and take care of some stuff. Right? Now I work. I'm a hustler to my core. I'm always grind, but his grind got to match or exceed mine. I don't take care of grown men. Not even my children. My oldest children, my son and my bonus son, my husband had 2 children from his first marriage, and I thank God we were able to get both of them so that I could raise all of our children together. And so the older 2 boys are 20. And I tell them all the time, you think you a man? Then you can't be here. Because your mama don't take care of grown men. I don't know what the next mama down the street. Now, I know what your friend's mama's doing. But you can't be a man and a child at the same time. You got to choose which one you're going to be. And with one man in here, that's mine. Okay? You're the child. You don't want to be a child no more. You know what the door is at. Stop letting these young boys telling them they're the man of the house. You are not the man of the house. You are the boy of the house until God sends the man in here. But you don't get to be a man and a boy at the same time. If I got to take care of you, you're not a man. I got to pay your cell phone bill, you're not a man. Come and ask me for help paying your rent, you're not a man. You're my child. You can't be both at the same time. So I said, all right, God, he got to understand what the lineup is. You got to have a good job. And listen, now he can't be too old, he can't be younger than me, because you know I'm a little old in my spirit. You know, I got a little old lady rocking on the inside of me. She go to bed with the chickens and she get up with the roosters. So I need him to understand, you know. Don't be expecting me to be talking to you at midnight, I'm asleep. You know, this how this thing work. I got to be truthful. You get all of me. I ain't got a best foot. This is all you get. Okay? I ain't pretending. You know, I ain't gonna be made up 7 days a week. That ain't happening. I'm gonna be cute when we going somewhere. Other than that, I'm gonna be decent. I'm gonna wash my face, put on some clean clothes on my hair. I ain't got a whole lot for you other than that in between. Stop making these men think that you look like Beyonce and you woke up like this every day. That ain't the truth. You don't look like that every day. Tell the truth. He didn't understand that about me. Can you deal with that? Don't tap me on my shoulder. I ain't rolling over. I'm asleep. You better get at me before I fall asleep. I needed him to know this. He said, will you marry me? I need him to know what to get himself into. Because what he wasn't going to do was come back 5 years later and say, you ain't tell me all this. No, brother, you knew all of this. You knew what you was getting. Okay? So ain't going to be no problems on the back end because you already knew. I needed him to understand what he was working with. I also needed him. I'm a beast in the spirit now. We get to praying. I got some Jesus for you. But don't be expecting me to make no gourmet meal. Now I'm a cook. It's going to be good. But you ain't getting Thanksgiving dinner every Sunday. I got stuff to do. I got to go to work. Okay? I can't be in the kitchen 3 or 4 hours a day. That ain't happening. I need you want some help paying these bills? I need to work. Okay? So he had to understand that. That ain't who you marrying. If that's who you want, baby, we need to go down the street. Now, I know Sister Girl over here, she can cook real good, and that's her gift. That ain't my gift. Now, I'm going to keep a clean house. The house going to look good. I'm going to need you to do the same thing. I ain't picking up your dirty drawers. I ain't doing that. I'm gonna need you to clean up behind yourself. I got kids, I ain't got time to clean up behind you. Right? I'm gonna need you to be able to do that for yourself. You take off your clothes, baby, I got you a hamper. It's just for you. Okay? Put your stuff in the hamper. Here's a rack for your shoes. This is where they go. Put your shoes on the rack. Don't leave stuff laying around my house. I'm not the maid. This is a joint thing. We can walk this thing out together. But there was things that he had to understand before he said, will you marry me? Because see, I didn't wait till the proposal to start showing him who I was. Showing him who I was day one. And I got questions. I'm not a bride of that chick. I know there's some out there, but that ain't me. I got questions. Where we going? What we doing? You ain't gonna be able to tell me, oh yeah, well, I got to go to work and the job is too far from the house, so I'm gonna stay at my cousin's house on the days that I got to work. That ain't gonna fly with a woman like me. Who's your cousin? Okay, let's go to her house right now. I need to meet all your cousins. We're gonna pray for God to give you a job close to the house, because I ain't getting married to be sleeping by myself because you decide you want to work an hour away from home. I'm not that wife. I got some questions. I'm gonna need you to be okay with all of my questions. We're gonna play 21 questions every other week. I need you to be okay with that. If you're not, I'm just not the right wife for you. I understood early on that the person that God designed for me was going to be cool with all of who I am. I never hid parts of me from him. And I said to him, the same honesty that I give you, I need for you to give back to me. I need you to be totally transparent. If you can't do that, then I'm not the woman for you. I'm not giving you my body if you don't give me your heart. I need to see what's ugly about you. I need to see what's good about you. I need to know where your affections lie. I need to know what you're willing to work for. I need to know what's important to you. What are your priorities? Do you want a new car? Or are you trying to build me a house? What we doing? Because I want to live better than I ride. Now, some people don't care about that. They can take their Bentley to the projects. I'm not doing that. I need to live good. I ain't living with no rats and roaches. That's comfortable for some people. It ain't comfortable for me. Your wife is a little bit bougie. I need you to know that going into it, because she ain't changing. I had to understand who he was, and he had to understand who all of I am. So when we were able to do that, that's why we have the marriage that we have. I've never had an argument with my husband, ever. 12 years. 12 years, an ex-wife on his part, an ex-husband on my part, and 6 kids between us, and I've never had an argument with my husband. Now, we got some stuff we could argue about, because I came with some baggage, and he came with some baggage. But we also came in with a respect for each other. I respect him, so I don't talk out the side of my neck to my husband. And my mouth is sharp. The girl can go when she wants to, but that doesn't bring God any glory. There's no fruit in running my mouth. There's no fruit in giving somebody a piece of my mind. So I learned to keep it all together so I wouldn't be crazy. Because you keep giving away pieces of your mind. That's why you're crazy. Because you done gave away half your brain to half of Charlotte's. I needed to keep all of it. And there's no fruit. You lose your witness when you in the street acting a fool. So you done told off the person in Walmart. Then they come to church and see you on the door. They can't receive you because they remember when you flipped on them yesterday. You gotta be consistent. Be who you are. In the spirit. Because the flesh it's a mess. It be acting up sometimes. You want to rise up. That's why you're supposed to kill it daily. You're supposed to crucify your flesh so that it does not rise up and ruin the witness of your spirit. That's what's most important. Get in touch with who you are. Stop getting off the table. When it hurts, that's where you need to stay. Hurt in the spirit, not in the natural. You're going upside your head, leave. He acting a fool, cheating on you, leave. Now, I know a lot of people won't tell you to leave your marriage. But I ain't going to be the person that has to look a woman in the face who says she got HIV because she didn't leave her cheating husband. I'm not carrying that blood on my hands. Now, the next person might, but it won't be me. I'm not going to have to answer for that. If you are in a situation where you know this person is not who you're supposed to be with, you are stunting the delivery of your baby. Now, do you want to be in them stirrups for 20 years? Do you want to stay in that situation with them labor pains, it kicking in every minute. You know, that last little bit of labor, that last stage of labor, you can't even breathe in between. You can't catch your breath before another contraction is coming. That's what's happening in some of your lives. You can't catch your breath. Contraction after contraction after contraction after contraction, because God is bringing you to the point of childbirth, but you have to begin to understand what's going on. Seek it out in the spirit. Ask God. And if it's a relationship that's bringing you that kind of pain, ask God, what's the purpose of the pain? For me, during that first marriage, God taught me how to really be a wife. He taught me how to shut my mouth and stop always putting my mouth on my husband disrespectfully. He taught me how to maintain a home, how to be a good mother to my children. He taught me how to go after the things in him that I was intended to go after while still maintaining my family. He taught me to be who I am. And that prepared me to give birth to the relationship that God had always had for me. But if you've never been married, you don't have to go through a bad marriage. That's not God's will for you to go through a bad marriage. God can teach you how to be all that you need to be without ever being in a bad marriage. It's too many women in the body that are broken and staying in relationships that you should not be in. Churches are full of women. Where's our husbands? Where are the men? You get some that have a lot of men. I almost say strong men. I don't know if they're strong. I don't live with these men. You get some that's got a lot of men. But for the most part, when you think of the African American church, you think of a woman. That is not God's will. Because if the woman can get it together, or at least go as though she has it together, where's the person that she pledged her life to? You can't be going seeking after the things of God and your husband seeking the club. That don't work. There's always going to be friction, and your feet gonna stay in them stirrups, and you're gonna stay in pain until you go back to God and ask him what it is that you really should be doing. How are you going to give birth to your purpose? Whether you happily married or not, you still got to give birth to your purpose. What I refuse to do is die with purpose still on the inside of me. I will die on E. Everything that he gave me, I will give out before I leave this earth. And I encourage all of you to do the same. Amen?
Amen.